morning, Year 10. Welcome to your update for this week. We will be looking at some unseen poetry, including a poem titled Storm on the Island by Seamus Heaney. For that, we go to our correspondent in the field. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is follow twist. So that is title. What clues do you get from the title? Then words, that's where we zoom in on words that we feel are significant to the poem. Next we have imagery, which is one or two examples of imagery used by the poet. Then structure, how does the structure contribute to the meaning? And finally, themes, what are the themes and ideas that the poet is exploring? And now on to our next story, where we'll be guiding you through how to write about this poem. The question you all have to answer is, how does Seamus Heaney present nature in his poem Storm on the Island? Now, the best way to complete this task is to work through your notes and make a cohesive argument. In this short part, I'm not going to work through everything that we're going to do. I'm only really going to work through the title and a bit of an introduction. So if we look at my first part of this, I've gone with the language in the title, Storm on the Island, is simple. It gives the reader the impression that this could represent any island while highlighting several key themes in the poem. If you were watching earlier when I annotated the poem on the camera, you will notice that I've included the fact I'm aware that there's more than one theme in this poem. I've also started on this idea around nature, which would be my thesis statement if I were to be writing this. So my next part is, the theme of nature is present throughout the poem, and the title is our first instance of this. By using storm, it gives impressions of uncontrollable and destructive power, chaos hitting a small and isolated community which may not be able to deal with such an event. This is coming back to the idea of themes, and I've left a little hint there that I'm recognised that there's more than one theme. In the line, chaos hitting a small and isolated community which may not be able to deal with such an event, that leads us in quite nicely to my final point in this first part. This level of uncontrollable and destructive power is also mirrored by the events occurring in Ireland at the time. Another theme which is present. These attacks, much like a storm, were sudden, chaotic and violent, leaving many dead or homeless. So if you're looking at our twist acronym, all I've done there really is title. I've sort of touched on themes and ideas and on words, but that's really all you need to do for this section. But what you need to do after that, obviously, is do the remaining 4 parts on your own. So you need to talk about words, images, structure, themes and ideas. Okay, so with structure, you're going to be looking at caesura and enjambment. With imagery, we've done quite a bit of work there, and I've left up on my annotations some of them on there. So for instance, wizened earth is personification. Much like pummels your house too, the personification of the wind there, it's a violent verb. Don't forget to zoom in on language though, much like I've done here. For instance, I zoomed in on the word storm because it set up every subsequent argument of mine quite well. Remember, we're trying to go for a thesis statement. Now what that means is one argument that carries on all the way through your work. if I were to be doing this in your place at the moment, I'd be carrying on this argument that the attacks in Ireland are much like a storm. There's that metaphor there, and how they could link together. So whichever argument you go for, you need to ensure that you carry it on all the way through. Thank you for that. Now, you have 1 week to complete this. I'd like it if you were to submit your work by Friday. However, I will be setting its deadline for Wednesday next week. Okay, if you give it to me by Friday, I will be able to mark it over the weekend. Failing that, obviously, I will give it back to you as soon as I am capable. We're going to be utilising whole class feedback from this point moving forward, and I won't be setting tasks every day. There'll be a task set at the beginning of the week with an accompanying video, which will also at the end include some star performers, some work that's gone above and beyond that I've received the week before. Wow.